Good evening, Lizzie Boys, and welcome back to my channel. If you've followed me for a long time, then you probably know that I love doll prototypes. I just kind of like prototypes in general. It's always interesting to me to see what the plan was before the final product, or to see things that didn't make it into the final cut. It's just interesting to me in general. And yesterday was a convention called PowerCon, which Garret Sander attended. And he showed off a bunch of never-before-seen Monster High prototypes. Some of them date back as far as 2012, others are from 2010, but we've seen them before. And we've even got some going up to the Haunted release and an unreleased Casta and Toralei doll, one that we've known about, but we've never seen the actual physical doll for until now. So, with that said, let's begin. So this one isn't that major, it's just the prototypes of the original ghouls, although these are prototypes that I don't believe we've ever seen before. So Claudine still has her headband ears here, and Deuce's head is completely painted. Instead of having that detached snake cap type thing that they put on him in the final doll, he instead has his scales painted on and the snakes just kind of come out of his head. But the most notable thing here is the hands. Now, you may notice it just by looking at Frankie's, but the dolls have a unique hand mold here. I tried to zoom in on it, but it got kind of blurry, but yeah, they have a very noticeably different hand mold here, except for Cleo. Cleo's hands look very final, like what we got on the actual released dolls. This is just interesting because we've never seen these prototypes before, but obviously I do want to get into the more interesting, never-before-seen stuff, like unrelated to these original ghouls. Some of, in my opinion, the most notable stuff we got is these haunted prototypes, in which we finally get to see the characters' unreleased pets. In case you guys were unaware, the haunted characters were originally planned to include pets. We knew it because in the movie, Vandala came with a small squid who was named I. The squid was supposed to be produced. Okay, it wasn't a squid, it was a cuttlefish. But it's just the cutest little creature. I love the little eye patch. And unfortunately, we didn't get it on the doll, and it's just so upsetting. God, I would have loved for her pet to have been made. Like, Vandala is one of my favorite haunted characters, and this just feels like such a loss. It's so cute. Like, if they ever, for whatever reason, decide to reproduce Haunted, which they most likely never will, I can't see Haunted ever getting a reproduction, but if they did, I would really like to see the pets come back. And maybe, just maybe, if they ever wanted to put the haunted characters into G3, I don't know. I personally would love to see Kiyomi in G3, because, you know, I just feel like she would fit very well. I would like to see their pets make a comeback, because Kiyomi also had a pet. It was this tiny, cute little dragon. He looks so mean, but, like, in a cute way, and yeah, I wish that had happened. She also has a very much more detailed dress here. I will admit I do prefer the way her final doll turned out, but this Kiyomi prototype is stunning. And the pet is cute. Again, looks very angry, looks kind of AI generated, mostly just because it looks very, it looks like a bad 3D model. It doesn't look like an actual physical thing. Like with I, he looks real. Like this looks like a real, figurine. I don't know, something about this one just looks like... Okay, AI generated was the wrong word. It was more like... It just doesn't look like it's actually there. It looks like this is a 3D mock-up that they just kind of pasted into the image, low-key. Porter was also going to have this raccoon who used his tail as a paintbrush and could also hold his little paint cans that Porter has hanging off of his, shirt. So this little guy would have been able to hold them as well. And I think that's adorable. River's pet was also shown off, but I didn't screenshot it just because we have seen River's pet before. Again, it's very sad that none of these were produced, especially Vandala's pet, who actually appeared in the movie. Another interesting prototype that we got to see was Claudia's face mold without the smile. I'll admit the smile does make her stand out, but considering Claudia did get 2 releases, I think it would have been nice if maybe the second doll had come with this unused face sculpt, now that I think about it. Because it would have been nice to have both options for her. It would have been cute. But, yeah, overall, I do think the smile makes her stand out more, that she did get on her final doll, but I do like the closed mouth as well, because she kind of just looks like a more mature Claudine, which makes sense, because she's Claudine's older sister. yeah, I just think this one's interesting. Also, the body is noticeably pink, which, I don't know, maybe they were planning on making a big sister character who was pink. Maybe it's just a test body they have lying around the factory that they used, but I just think that's interesting. So yeah, Claudia without the smile, in case you guys ever wondered what the official version of that looked like, we now have a photo of it. This is probably one of the coolest things we got to see from this panel. It is these unreleased bug ghouls. One of them was a snail, one was a spider, and another seems to be some sort of dragonfly. These are so cool. Like, I feel like towards the end, Monster High did start running out of steam with new characters. For example, in Boo York, I feel like the 3 characters we got were interesting, except for Mercedes. And then in Great Scarier Reef, they all kind of sucked. I didn't like Cala's design, Perry and Pearl were fine, and Posia, she was fine. But these 3 are cool. These are very unique looking dolls, and I would have loved to see them hit shelves. Like, the spider girl, or like, is she a spider? Like, I don't know, I can't tell what she is supposed to be. She's got, like, 5 legs. Yeah, I count 5 legs there. I don't know. But this character looks so cool. I love all of the eyes. I love the purple skin. She just looks really cool. I would have loved to see this character see a release. The one in the middle, the snail girl, is probably my least favorite. Not crazy about her. My favorite of the 3 is without a doubt her, the dragonfly girl. Why is this picture so grayed out? She's clearly blue and purple here, but then in this other photo I have, she's like almost gray. That's weird. Yeah, this one is just probably one of my favorites. I just love this texture to her skin to make her like look more bug-like. I love her screening. Like, the side glance is adorable. You guys know I love side glances. You know how I feel about them. That feeling being adoration. And, again, my absolute favorite. Look at her shoes, dude. Her shoe sculpt is incredible. I'm so upset seeing these because I know that they're never going to come out. God, it's so interesting. Like, I don't know. I feel like making bug monsters is a good idea. Like, they always could have made, like, a Daughter of the Fly. If you know what I'm talking about, then you know. But, like, I feel like bug monsters was a good idea. Like, Widona was a great idea. She has one of the best designs in Monster High. So having more bug ghouls like her, that would have been amazing. She had these 3 fly characters that she would chase around in the 3D films. And while I didn't like those 3 designs, these 3 here are perfect. Like, these are very good designs that, again, I really wish had come out. I don't know if there's any more information on these. I've only seen, like, photos from the panel. I haven't seen anyone, like, recount what Garret Sander said about these prototypes. So, unfortunately, I don't know a whole lot about these 3. If anyone who was at the panel or has heard, like, secondhand retellings of what happened at the panel, feel free to share any information in the comments. Just make sure you back it up with a source, because I really don't want, like, false information to spread. I don't want someone to be like, oh, these 3 were the new characters from the Monster High G 2.5 reboot, actually, and they were going to be the main characters, and it was going to be called Bug High. Like, I don't want you guys to make stuff up like that in the comments. But, yeah, overall, these 3 look amazing. I want her. I hope she's still out there somewhere, because I need to get my hands on this doll. We also finally got to see what Fierce Rockers Casta was supposed to look like. So, in case you guys don't know, the Fierce Rockers 2-pack of Toralei and Caddy wasn't always planned to include Toralei. Garret Sander's original idea was to include Casta, and it was going to be called Shattered Spells instead of Fierce Rockers. The reason for that being Caddy liking broken glass, she likes broken mirrors, and Casta being a witch. Her band was called Casta and the Spells, so Shattered Spells makes sense. Unfortunately, Casta didn't sell too well, so Mattel requested that they change her to a more popular character, and Toralei was chosen, creating the Fierce Rockers 2-pack. Gonna be honest, I'm happy we got Toralei. It's my favorite Toralei doll of all time. Toralei in black lipstick will serve every single time. But I do think Casta made more sense logically for this 2-pack, because Toralei canonically cannot sing, and in the story that they created for the diary, she can't sing. That's the joke. It's just the whole story. It's just, wow, Toralei cannot fucking sing to save her wife. Slanderous. But, yeah, this Casta doll definitely would have been interesting, and you can definitely see that Toralei's outfit was basically just a retooling of Casta's. They basically have the same silhouette. Meanwhile, Caddy didn't change at all. She's had the same design since inception, and, like, good for her. It's a very good design. This is one of my favorite Caddy dolls, by the way. I just love her. So yeah, it would have been interesting for Casta to see a release, but I'm also not upset we got Toralei because I am a huge Toralei fan. You could call me her #1 fan. She has 13 dolls, and I own 30 Toralei dolls. We also got to see a concept for a new Scaremaster Rebecca. It does, in my opinion, look like this design was reused partially for her art class design. Like, in terms of what her dress looks like, it really reminds me of art class Rebecca. And it makes sense because the art class line was released somewhat alongside the new Scaremaster line. So I do feel like in a way it's some sort of new Scaremaster collection, but you know, it's just not called that. So I don't feel like we lost this doll, but the bow in her hair and the original design for her shoes and the backpack, those are all things that I would have loved to see. We also got to see these very interesting prototypes of the, what was this called? I know that the line with Toralei, Nephra, and Operetta is called Campus Stroll, but I don't know what this collection is called. I don't know. But here we get to see a prototype of Rebecca that looks significantly different from the final doll, namely because she uses Frankie's face mold here. That is Frankie's face. Venus looks very mean. Like, she looks very, very mean, and I kind of dig it. She also has the standard hand mold rather than the special one that was made for her. And we also have a Rochelle with noticeably different makeup and a unique pair of earrings and headband. Rochelle also looks a bit more melancholy here, like she looks like she's frowning. She's got like this purpley lipstick color and she looks like she's frowning, you know? Jackson just looks like a fucking nerd, we're not even gonna talk about him. But Rochelle also features the standard Monster High hand mold rather than her Claude one that she received. Because she received the sort of like Claudine hand mold. Yeah. Honestly, I prefer the Rebecca prototype. She's more detailed. I really like the hat with the goggles on it. But I will always love Rebecca's basic doll. So it's not like I'm like, oh, bummer, we lost this stuff. Because we kind of regained it through Comic-Con Rebecca. It feels like this original design for her ended up being reused in the Comic-Con pack. Obviously not the boots, because I'm pretty sure they kept her boots. They look very similar to the final. Either way, though, I really like seeing these prototypes. Again, as I mentioned, I just think it's very fascinating to see the things that were cut, the things that were changed before the final product was revealed and released. And I'm really glad that these photos are archived, because could you imagine if, like, we just never got to see this stuff? We wouldn't know. We wouldn't care. But Garret Sander showed it to us, and now they're being spread all over the internet, so hopefully they will not get lost anytime soon. I think it's important to preserve prototype images when they leak, just because it's a fascinating piece of history to a very popular media that people love, you know? That's why I like Monster High prototypes so much. I just really love the history of everything. So I'm going to call it there. We have discussed everything that was revealed in that live stream that I wanted to talk about personally. There was more stuff, but none of it was anything that like none of it was just anything that I wanted to talk about personally. Like, I just wanted to talk about Rebecca and Venus and all the other characters. I just, you know. But yeah, yeah, that's everything. Feel free to comment your thoughts on everything. I want to see your guys' enthusiasm if you like the prototypes as much as I do. And yeah, as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!